Shalom, you guys. I know I haven't talked to you guys in a really long time. I've been busy, working a lot, doing a lot of stuff that's work related, and going through some stuff that's personal, good and bad, but mostly overall good. But I have not forgotten the gift that the Most High Yah gave me, and that was to show you guys, or at least talk to you guys about certain prophetic dreams or spiritual dreams, something that has some type of meaning to them. I know I haven't did a dream in a long time that the Most High have gave me, so I can actually tell you guys about it now. This dream I had like probably two and a half months ago. I told the Most High that I would definitely talk to you guys about it and tell you guys about it. With this dream, this was one of the last dreams I had. I haven't had one in like a month. So with this dream, Most High forbid this ever happens. But my uncle, one of my mom's brothers, he was me and him we were in a hospital. We was in a scene where we were in the hospital. It was basically real, but it wasn't. He was in the hospital, and his wife was really sick with something I dare not to mention. And crazy as it may seem, it actually happened to them for real, with the exceptions of him talking to me. So we go to this hospital. He's panicking. He's really, really scared. I'm not really knowing what's going on. But as he comes walking up, talking to me, he's real hysterical, and he starts speaking a different language. It wasn't African language like Swahili or, Senegalese. It was nothing African. You can tell it was like a Hebraic language. It was like a Hebrew language. You can tell it was something that the Most High was trying to tell me. He spoke it so fluently that I was actually trying to catch on to some of the stuff he was saying, so I could actually try to write it down and try to find it somewhere, because the Most High does not give me these dreams for nothing. And I used to have them a whole lot, real frequent, especially when I used to be on Google Plus. And since they got rid of it, is the dreams kind of slowed down. And then my personal life, as far as well, not really personal, work related, my work has gotten in the way of me, it's been trying to get in the way of me being more in the word. That will never stop. No one can stop that, not even work. So the devil is a lie. But anyway, my uncle was speaking this language that I never heard, and he spoke it for such a long time. It was almost like it was real. It felt real. He was telling me how his wife was really, really sick, and he don't know. Like, I understood him, even though I couldn't speak it back to him. I didn't even try to speak it back to him. So the nurses came, ran up to him, and I don't know what they was telling him, but he went in the back, and I never seen him again after that dream. Like, it actually, like, the dream was really short-lived. I never had a dream that short. Usually I like the dreams to last for hours. Then another dream, that was the latest dream that I had. One dream I put on Google Plus when they did have it, because I was so I wouldn't say scared to tell people, because when you tell people certain dreams or certain stuff that you go through, especially if it's spiritual and the Most High gives you visions about it, people don't really know how to I'm not gonna say they don't know how to handle it, but they'll think you're crazy. So in this case or whatever, I was in the complex where I live now, where I am now, and I was walking to the store. I live across the street from a strip mall. So me and this guy, the area I live at is real diverse. It's starting to get really diverse. It used to just be, well, they call us black people, black and brown people. And what I mean by brown people, I'm talking about Middle Eastern Indians and us. But now it's starting to get really diverse, like, with Caucasian people, all that stuff. So in this dream, it shows me and this man, we walking out of the complex to go to the strip mall. Out of nowhere, this gigantic tidal wave, about as tall as the building that I live in, which is a 24-story building, 24 floors. I'm like, me and him turned around, and like we thought about running, but we was like, what's the point of running? We know we not gonna make it. So in this case, I'm praying in my head, and at the same time, I'm panicking because I'm like, I don't know how high this water is gonna go. You could see the water rising from a distance, like 10 blocks away from where I live, and yeah. So the water's coming, and it's coming close to us. It hit the building that I live in, and my uncle's building is the first one. So I'm by my uncle's building, the first building. Me and the guy, we just stood there, and I'm praying. He panicking, and I think he praying too. I wasn't really focused on him. I'm worried about the people that's in my house. So as this tidal wave is getting closer, me and him, we kind of braced ourselves. So like he holding on to the gate, and I'm just standing there because I'm like, okay, the Most High Yah gave me a dream like this before. Haya gave me a dream like this before, where I had nowhere to go and it was water everywhere. I tried to hold my breath and I couldn't no longer. So I was like, I don't know what's going to happen to me. So I end up letting go and I was breathing underwater. Same thing happened with this dream. It was a gigantic, and in that dream, this was when I was like 20 something. It was a gigantic whirlpool and I didn't know if I could breathe underwater or not. And when I just stopped holding my breath, I was able to breathe, and I was seeing people dying as I was basically swimming in the water, and I couldn't save them at all. And these were like neighbors, people just on the streets, like you just couldn't save them. And all I was thinking about was like, man, am I one of the few people that the Most High wanted to save? Back to this other dream. So as we see the tidal wave coming, it's getting closer. I did the same thing, held my breath, and he did too. We held our breath and the water just smacked us, but it didn't fly us anywhere. Like it kept us in that one section, like where we was at. It never moved us. So it was almost like it was illusional water. If that makes sense. It was almost like it was government made. So to make a long story short, this tidal wave disappeared, not disappeared like snap your fingers disappeared, like the water resided. And then another wave came of water. It hit us again. I'm swimming to the top to try to get to, I think the water came to like the second or third floor. So everybody else was fine. The water from a distance, it was as tall as the 24-story building, but it stopped once it got closer, and it only hit like the fourth, fifth, sixth floor. It didn't go no higher than like probably the sixth or seventh floor. So at this point, like people in a building screaming, but the water in certain people's apartments, the water was getting in it, but it didn't drown them. I went back after the second tidal wave left. I seen the third one coming. I just ran straight to the first building where my uncle was at because I went to go check on him. As I'm going to my uncle's apartment, as I'm going in it, the apartment turned into my grandma's old apartment. Like it was, my grandma lived in that building for like probably 20, 30 years. But she had a 3-bedroom when I was little. She had it all the way up until she died. And where my uncle lives at now, it's a 1-bedroom. But as I'm going to my uncle's floor and I opened his door, it turned into my grandma's old house. And I'm like, her old apartment. Same building, different floor, and the same. It had 3 rooms like her old place did. So I go up in there. I'm asking everybody, is they okay? Because I'm thinking it's just my uncle in the house. Both of my uncles. I'm thinking both of my uncles in the house. It was my daughter in the house, 2 of my sisters, my brother. I wasn't sure if he was still in the city or not, or still where he live at now. And I couldn't find my son. So I'm panicking because I'm like, where's my son at? I see my daughter, I see my niece, and I see one of my nephews. I'm like, where is my son? So I'm looking in every room trying to find him. It was like 2 rooms I didn't go into. I'm looking in the kitchen. I went in one room. I went in the living room part, and I seen the tidal wave coming again. I'm screaming, telling everybody to close the windows. So just to be sure, because I'm like, okay, this is a dream. I should be able to control it, but this is surreal. Like it felt so real. That was probably one of the scariest dreams I ever had because it felt so real. It felt like it literally happened as I was sleeping. So after the third tidal wave came, we're looking at it and we see all this water. We seeing like signs floating around, like all type of debris in the water. Then the water reside again. After that third time, that was it. So the water resided and it stayed on the, so once the water actually went to the second floor, it didn't reside completely like it did the first two times. So the third time the water stayed like at the second floor level, but that's still kind of high. Like that's I can't swim, I can't breathe type of wet, type of water, and how high it was. So I get out the building and I go to swim, and I don't know how I got outside with the water pressure all on the door. I was still able to go outside. Like it was almost like the water was fake, like it was an illusion, but it was real. So, because I was able to open the door like any other day, open the door, and go outside. So as I'm swimming to the top, I see these like fighter jet type planes. I still remember how they looked. They was gray. They wasn't a normal like military gray. It was a military gray, but it wasn't our military gray. It was like a lighter color, almost like a Russian type gray. It was real light. And only thing I don't remember, and I used to, was the tail of the fighter jets. It was two of them, and they were holding this gigantic raft. The raft was in the shape of a square shaped pillow. It almost looked like a pillow candy cane type thing. It was red, white, and red, with a white strip going across it with red words on it saying endurance. I will never forget that. And when I started thinking about endurance, I was thinking about Dubai, because they always have an event every year in Dubai, and I think it's like for people to stay fit, and it's called endurance. So I'm like, okay, so does the Arabs got, anything to do with what's going to happen to them and the Russians? I'm like, because this is a Russian fighter jet dropping off a gigantic raft, and the raft was to save some of the people that was swimming, because there was people, as I'm swimming to the top, they literally dropped it like 10 feet where I was. Like the raft didn't push me, or you know how like when stuff falls, especially in the water, it pushes whatever in it, like, back like some feet. Like it kept me in that same spot. But I was, grateful that they didn't drop the raft on me, because the raft was so big it can take up 2 city blocks. 2 city blocks. And so people was swimming to it and trying to get on it, and that's when I woke up from my dream, and I was like, man, I'm like, I don't, that dream scared me because it felt so real. Like I literally felt like everybody was finna die. Like Chicago, it happened in Chicago, and I'm like, why is this happening? But to make a long story short, everything was fine. At least when I woke up, that's at least what I remember about the dream. But getting back to my uncle, the latest one that I had, like I said, we were in the hospital and he was speaking a language I've never heard. So I'm like certain that was Hebrew, like our people's original language, because it sounded too real, and just the dialect, and what he was saying, it wasn't Swahili language at all, but it sounded like it a little, but you can tell it was a holy language. How he was saying it, like everything, it just felt clean, and like he said it like it was like he'd been speaking it for years. So I wanted to tell you guys about that. I'm not going to make this video no longer than what it is, because I thought I was only going to be talking for 5 minutes. I'm sweating real bad because I just came from Sabbath class. I had a really good time in Sabbath class. I'm just sweating real bad, and I just wrapped my hair up a different way than what I had it when I was there. But I just want you guys to stay prayerful and stay mindful of the fact that the Most High, Haya Ashahaya, and his son, Yeshaya, will be coming to get us. So we need to prepare ourselves because we don't know what is to come. Prepare our minds spiritually, because there is a spiritual battle out there that many people aren't ready for, regardless if they're in the truth or not. The Most High gives people like me gifts like this so we can tell people about them. I'm not really sure with certain dreams how to interpret them, but at least from what I'm getting, and I use common sense and spirituals, not spirituals, biblical scripture. I would try to remember what I read about and try to compare it to that. Or like I said, when it comes to common sense stuff, just look at what's around me and just use, the common knowledge that he gave me to interpret it. But anyway, like I said, I won't make this video long. The Shabbat is actually over now. I think it's like 8:30 or 8:40. But anyways, I hope you guys had a good Sabbath like I did. All praises to the Most High for everything he's given us. He will be coming to get a lot of us really, really soon. Like he said, he's only saving 1/3. 2/3 of our people will be gone and destroyed. So we need to stay prayerful, stay mindful. Don't let the scoffers discourage us, break us down. I love you guys. Shalom. Bye.